Hello and welcome to Flutzes and Waxels, a figure skating podcast to satisfy all of your skating news, analysis, and recap needs. I'm Mary Margaret Mertzos.
And I'm Alicia Mertzos, and we're sisters with a lifelong love for figure skating, practicing, watching, and discussing. So let's delve deep into what's happened in the skating world this week.
So I am sure that none of you have missed it, but this past weekend was Worlds 1, as Alicia said last week, the Grand Prix Final. We will be talking about everybody, junior and senior. We'll see how long it takes us to get through them all because there was a whole lot that happened this past weekend.
So much going on. We're going to start with the juniors because we know that's what you want.
Seniors.
The seniors, because that's what you want, even though I kind of want to talk about the juniors more than the
I was
seniors.
about to say, especially when it comes to dance, which we're going to start with. But we know everybody likes the seniors. We'll do those first, but we will get to the juniors as well. Don't you worry.
Yes.
But yes, senior ice dance. This was a bit of a wild one, proving that this season is maybe not as expected as anybody thought going in.
Nothing is an open and shut case.
Yeah, anything can happen, especially if people don't quite skate up to their full abilities, which was definitely the case in this event. Nobody really had their best day here.
Especially in that rhythm dance.
Yeah.
The rhythm dance was not good.
Yeah.
The free dance was a bit better, but even that was nowhere near what any of these teams are capable of.
Yeah, which is a shame because I would have loved to have seen cleaner skates from a lot of these teams and then see where they all stack up. But then again, when it allows some to rise and others to fall, depending on how they can do and how many small mistakes they can avoid, because really they were, to be fair, most of them were small mistakes.
Yeah.
With, I'd say maybe one pretty big exception to that, but lots of little things, but in ice dance, the little things can make all the difference.
Well, and the little things add up quickly.
Yeah.
We see that in all disciplines, but especially in dance, one messy turn turns into a lost level.
Yep.
Turns into a negative GOE, and all of a sudden you would have been first.
Yep.
And now you're fourth or
well,
sixth.
And especially here when we get to this bottom half where they were separated by like 1.5 points, the bottom three. That is, again, one sloppy turn and you bounce down a place.
Or three.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it. Our winners, Gabriela Papadakis and Guillaume Cizeron, as everyone expected, but it was a close thing after that rhythm dance, and they were very lucky that other teams did not skate up to their full abilities.
And they also got a little lucky in the way that that was judged.
Well, yes, that is absolutely fair. It was not subtle, her, trip on the twizzle in the midline step.
Technical fall.
Yeah.
She put enough weight on her knee that you could have called it a fall.
Yeah.
And justified it.
Yeah. She hit it well, but it was obvious. We've all seen this program a bunch of times.
Well, and also, if he had faked it a little bit.
Yes, if they'd both, had the presence of mind to fake like a knee slide, except that you can't. It's impossible to do that in the moment.
Even if he had stumbled a little bit on the exit of his twizzle, it would have hit hers a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very obvious that she fell out of her twizzle, which is a level feature.
Yep.
Which is why they only got a level 2.
Yeah, a very important level feature as well.
That doesn't take you down 1 level. That takes you down 2. From 4 to 2 if you don't twizzle correctly in both directions each.
Yeah.
So her missing that cost them 2 levels. That used to happen to them all the time. Mm-hmm. And somehow, a certain judge, who, let's just talk about judge number 5.
We went to the protocols, looked at their scores, immediately went, is this the French judge? And indeed,
it is.
It is. And that's how obvious this was. You want to talk about the scoring discourse. I know it's all happening in the men, but...
This is far more obvious.
Yeah.
She gave them a +3 on that midline step. Mm-hmm. 2 +5s on the twizzles and the stationary lift, which is more fair.
Yeah.
And then 3 10s in PCS.
Yep.
So we haven't done this in a little while, but I'm going to name and shame because, come on, you could have been far more subtle and given it a +1, and I wouldn't have even checked.
Yep.
If you would given them a +1.
And to be fair, the 10s are a dead giveaway, which again, that I know the wording isn't as exact as to say a perfect program, but there was a major visible error in ice stance. This is ice stance we're talking about.
This is ice stance.
Tens are not acceptable in this situation.
Well, and with an actual fall, you are not allowed to give over, I think it's like a 925. I don't remember the exact wording of what number it is. That was a technical fall.
Yeah.
You cannot justify your 3 tens, Ms. Valerie Grillet Lambert. And that was a very American way to say that because I did not actually check what her name was before I decided to name and shame. But you're the French judge. You gave them 3 tens and a +3 on a step sequence with a technical fall.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's so frustrating when you can look at the protocols and say that's a ridiculously high score. Is it from the home judge? And it is. At least if it's somebody from a random other country who doesn't have a dog in the fight.
If it was the Italian judge,
sure,
because there were no Italians in dance.
Yeah,
that's bad enough. But this is just very obvious and plain.
Yeah, especially because, there was obviously a fluke. They came back in the free dance and did excellently and won by a mile, as they deserved to based on the strength of that free dance, which is why we didn't need to hold them up in that rhythm dance, guys. We really didn't. With that kind of a major error, again, this is ice dance.
That is a major error.
That is not, even there were a couple judges giving +2s on that midline step. And yes, I understand you're balancing all of it, but that's an impactful moment.
And again, with a technical fall, not to mention that we were very harsh on some fall judging.
We will get to that.
We will get to that eventually. This looks a little suspect when we compare the other technical fall to this technical fall and what happened. Nobody gave it a negative GOE on the step sequence.
Yeah.
Even though you would have been very justified in doing that with a technical fall. Only 3 judges gave it a 0, which I would say is kind of the minimum of what you should be giving a step sequence with a technical fall.
Yeah, I mean, because it wasn't called as a fall, maybe there's more leeway. And again, the rest of it was great. They have excellent step sequences until they make a mistake. And yes, that was a mistake. There's no getting around it. I'm sorry.
And that was a huge mistake.
Yeah. Again, this is ice dance. It's a huge mistake.
If she had just skidded on that twizzle, it would have been a huge mistake.
Yeah.
To skid on that twizzle and then fall out of it very dramatically, that's an enormous mistake. And now I can't even talk about their free dance, which I enjoy.
I know,
and they skated well, but I have to talk about the bad judging in the rhythm dance.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's not even about them, because they clearly showed and have shown that, it was a fluky mistake. I'm sure it will never happen again. It's a one-time thing, and they would have won anyway, even without some over-the-top judging. We really don't need
to hold people up.
Yeah.
If they deserve to win, they will win on their own merit.
Yeah.
And these 2 deserve to win, and they would have won on their own merit if we hadn't held them up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been, I'm sure if you've been paying any attention to skating Twitter, the scoring discourse, and again, more in the men than here, but this was the one that annoyed me more, honestly.
I was going to say, it happened entirely in the men. And then the 2 of us were sitting in a corner like...
But dance, though.
But what about the dance scoring discourse, though? That is a thing where I can say there is some discrepancies in judging. Because we have 2 technical falls, it is very easy to compare. And yes, one was in the rhythm dance, one was in the free dance. If you're going to be a little bit easier in the rhythm dance because everybody was a mess, that's a little more understandable.
Yeah.
But that was not a -2 to a 0 difference. That was a huge difference, guys.
Yeah. And again, it sucks that is what I'm left with. And, because if you take out that one particular moment, and I thought that she recovered very well in the rhythm dance
very
afterwards,
quickly.
And they did not seem phased the least bit in the free dance. Again, it's a fluky mistake, and it really shouldn't matter in the overall perspective of things from a team who,
have shown that they're technically dominant.
Yeah.
Even if they do occasionally make that exact mistake on the twizzles in their midline step.
Yeah. And free dance, always great. I know other people don't love it quite so much. I love it. I go ahead. Judge number 5, yet again, who showed some restraint in only giving them one 9.75 in the free dance, which when you compare it to the rhythm dance, like, go all out 10s then if you're going that way.
If they deserved 3 10s in the rhythm dance, there is no justification for not giving them all 10s in the free dance.
Basically, yeah.
If you're going to stand by your decision in the rhythm dance, you did not in the free dance, because it was night and day. It looked like a different team.
I wouldn't even go that far. Again, she made one mistake in the rhythm dance, and it was at the end. They were strong enough in the beginning. Everybody's having trouble with the fin step. Theirs is not bad at this point.
I would not have given him that last key point.
No, I agree. But
there was a lot of snow on that last key point.
Yeah. To be fair, a lot of these teams in this event and others, they get more key points than I might have given them. But at least in the fin step judging, I felt it was pretty fair across the board, because they were nice to everybody.
I think everybody got about one more key point than they deserved.
Yeah, probably about exactly that. For just about everybody. There was one like, oh, really? You gave them that one? Like, okay, sure.
If we're giving everybody a bonus key point for showing up.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, whatever. Let's move on.
Yes.
To our surprise silver medalists?
I would say surprise. I definitely did not expect Chalk and Bates to not only take the silver, but take it over their American teammates by a good couple of points.
Yeah.
Did not expect that coming in, but I will say, of all the teams here, they were probably the most consistent in the cleanliness of the skating here. And I think that really is what did it for them. Other people making silly little mistakes, and they skated similarly to the way they have earlier in the season.
They didn't get all their levels, but nobody did.
Yeah.
Like, literally nobody got all their levels.
Mm-hmm.
And they were one of the closest teams to all the levels in the free dance.
Yep.
Which they are getting more and more technically proficient.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me hate this free dance even more. Because I just keep thinking, you're so much better than this.
Yeah. I mean, at least, if you can take apart the little moments, things like the lifts. The lifts are fantastic when they get all... and some of the choreographic moments as well. The character step I don't love, but the other ones are really dynamic, and you want to go 5s for those. I'm not opposed.
Yeah.
We've talked at length about our issues with this program, and nothing has changed, which makes me a bit conflicted about it. But
if you're new here, because I know that we're getting some new people.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you exactly where you can find the full ad nauseum explanation of why we don't like this. It's in the U.S. International Classic dance episode. I think it was Dancing Ladies Together. I think we tackled all of that nonsense at once.
Yeah.
And it's about a half hour in.
Yeah. We talked about it for probably too long, which is why I don't want to get into it again.
Which is why we avoid talking about it every time this comes up, but that's where you can find it. Even if we take out all of the things that we don't like about it and why, I just always come back to Madison can make those arms look
intentional
and the way that they're quote unquote supposed to.
Yeah.
Evan can't. He cannot do those arm positions.
Well, and that's the thing too. If you're doing really like dramatic angular arm positions in the twizzles, you better both be matching, or it's very obvious that you're not.
And his are always sloppy, and his elbows are never angular, and they're always kind of droopy
because it's not a natural movement.
But... Exactly. But if you're going for an unnatural movement and you're going for synchronicity on it, no excuses for not doing the same thing at the same time with the same level of quality. Yeah. No excuses.
The rhythm dance, I honestly like more and more, and maybe it's just in comparison with the free dance where I'm like, but the rhythm dance, it's so much fun though. There are a lot of fun moments. They as well, I mean, basically everybody got almost the same levels on just about all of these things.
A level 2 and a level 3 on the pattern step.
Yep.
And a level 2 on their midline or diagonal step.
Yeah.
For like everybody.
Yeah.
And they got a whole 3 levels on the fin step. Again, probably one more than they deserved, but
yeah. It went well for them. I'm very intrigued to see U.S. Nationals now, how that all pans out.
Throwing a wrench in the works for U.S. Nationals. I thought I knew what was going to happen.
I do very much appreciate that ice dance is not predictable so much this season. I very much appreciate it. And it's especially interesting because they finished just ahead of Hubble and Donahue, who were in second after the rhythm dance and didn't even really have a bad free dance. They, had, again, similar skate to just about everybody in the rhythm dance. She had a bit of an issue on her first twizzle set, which got her to a level 3, but
then they also got 2 level 3s in the pattern style step, which basically made up for that difference and had them tied with literally everybody. All 6 teams were within like 3.5 points after the rhythm dance.
Something like that,
which is very close. And that's why there was so much shake up.
And the free dance, I mean, we haven't seen either of these programs for a while, and they talked about that they were
making changes.
Making changes, not to the music, to my dismay. But
which, before we get into the actual substantive changes, I need to address a thing that I said on Twitter that was apparently controversial, which was that I don't like the prop coat.
Oh no, I hated it.
It's a really dumb, like I'm a 12-year-old doing a showcase.
Kinda, yeah.
Prop.
It's unnecessary.
Invest that money in his costume.
Yeah. I mean, at least he is wearing a costume now.
Yes.
He is Joe DiMaggio, and he's got the baseball shirt, no longer the baseball pants that he had in practices, but it's fine.
Although I did like John Chu on Twitter's joke about the star on the back, because is he asking to be her star?
You could have skated to that for the first section of music.
3 people will get that joke, but if you get that joke, I love you.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed that they didn't change up the music parts, because to me that was what didn't work. It wasn't so much the arrangement of elements and whatnot, and which seems to be what they did change, especially in the free dance.
Yeah, they didn't really change the rhythm dance much at all.
Yeah.
They changed the free dance a fair bit, and I think it hurt more than it helped.
Yeah, it almost seemed to me to be changing for the sake of changing. And I totally understand why they don't want to go the same route as last season, where they kept changing up the music arrangement to the free dance all season long.
But change once and then commit to it.
Yeah.
If something's not working, change it immediately and then commit to it.
Yeah.
That's the actual solution.
And that's why if this is what we're going with, and US Nationals isn't that far away, then sure, just stick with this and finesse, the timing of elements and things like that, especially once we get into in the free dance, like the second half too shallow. Like there are big musical crescendos that aren't quite utilized as much as they could be here.
Yeah, it almost seemed like the sync was off.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of close to being in the right place, but it wasn't actually in the right place.
It kind of felt like new and a bit unpolished, which it felt more polished to me before they made the changes.
Absolutely. I think they changed the wrong program.
Yeah. I mean, at least I will say choreographically, I think the rhythm dance works very well. Like in terms of putting elements to the music that they have, I think it works well. I just don't really love the music that they have is the problem. But
yeah, they needed to change 45 seconds of the rhythm dance.
Yeah.
And that was all they needed to change, because the free dance was quite good before. And this is not better. And I don't think it's entirely the newness. I think it's partially the newness.
Yes.
But I don't think that's entirely it, because these elements seem misplaced.
Yeah. Even things like, the serpentine step in the beginning of the program was one of the things where they only got a level 2, and that was probably one of the biggest determinants of them dropping a place. Like it was fine. It's a fine step sequence, but it's
certainly not better than the old one.
Yeah, and just the timing of it doesn't really build the program much, which it can. Sometimes step sequences don't, but they can work to build a program.
Here's what I'll say. For a team that medals at Worlds,
yes,
a step sequence does.
Yes, definitely.
Every element for a world-class team, meaning a team that will podium at Worlds, every element contributes to the building of the program. And this doesn't do that, and that is part of why they fell down a place.
Yeah, that because that, again, is the thing. If you compare them with Chalk and Bates, it's not a theme or a style that I like, but they are committed to it.
And they are doing it better than Hubble and Donahue are.
And it, it tells a story. Again, I don't love the story, but there is a flow to it. There is theme in the movements. And for Hubble and Donahue in that free dance, it comes in and out.
Yeah. And that has them feeling like a good team, but not a great team.
Yeah.
And that is a problem. And that seems like a nitpicky thing.
Well, but it's ice stance. We got to get into nitpicky things.
But that's what ice stance is. Ice stance is taking your technical elements with all of the technical difficulty and hopefully executing it well, and combining that with music and a story and blending all three seamlessly.
Yep.
That is the goal of ice stance.
Yeah.
This does not achieve that goal.
Yeah. And again, to be fair, we've talked how much I hate the first piece of music in the rhythm dance, but I honestly think choreographically and story-wise, it's constructed well enough that at this point, just don't even bother touching it. Just leave it as is. I'll still be a bit disappointed, but you shouldn't bother touching. Work on the free dance.
I will complain about that piece of music every time, but at this point, it is too late to change it.
Yeah.
Especially because you messed with the free dance.
Yeah.
If they hadn't, you would have still had time to change the rhythm dance so that I would be raving about it.
Yeah.
Because if they had just picked, again,
anything from Smash, my personal preference, because he wants to be Joe DiMaggio, would be the national pastime. Same energy, but less gross. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's move on. Fourth here, were Stepanova and Buchan, who I think, to me, they didn't look quite as strong as at NHK 2 weeks ago, and this is a little bit of a quick turnaround. It wasn't a bad competition for them by any means, and at least she managed to avoid costume mishaps in the rhythm dance, which I'm sure they were relieved by.
But they did look more tentative in both programs.
Yeah.
They are normally so fast and dynamic, and that is a huge part of their appeal.
Yep.
And that was missing.
Yeah, to me it just looked like a little bit of tiredness.
Yeah.
Like, for me, you could sort of tell in watching them that, they just competed 2 weeks ago and, had to go from Japan probably home, then to Italy.
Yeah, that's a lot of time zone changes. It's not a long turnaround. You don't need a huge turnaround unless you're changing like 7 time zones.
Yeah.
Like last year when Hubble and Donahue competed Skate America and then Skate Canada, but they were in the same time zone.
Well, they were different time zones. They were like 3 hours apart or something. But this year they're in the same time zone.
Yes, this year they were in the same time zone. That doesn't matter because you don't need the time to adjust and to adjust your training and to get enough sleep because that is a huge part of preparing for competition. When you change like 7 time zones or something between Japan and Italy over 2 weeks, especially if you have a stop off in Russia, which I'm assuming they did. They might not have.
Yeah, I'm not certain, but I would guess they probably did.
Either way, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. And it showed.
Yeah, and only a little bit. Like, this was a perfectly solid skate for them. And I think for them, they were more just hurt by, again, the first flight PCS and GOE. I think they and Gilles and Poirier both suffered from that a little bit, and which is what makes it really hard with the final when you only have 3 teams in each flight. There is everybody's made it, but
there is a separation between the way the first 3 teams are scored and the way the second 3 teams are scored.
Yeah.
We saw that in dance and in pairs this week.
Yeah, in junior and senior.
Yep, and I'm not happy about it because the way that they put them in flights is already annoying.
Yeah.
Because they're put in world standing order as opposed to Grand Prix qualification order, which would be more fair.
And I don't remember when this was changed, but I'm pretty sure it used to be that way, which was why when I was talking about it, I thought, oh yeah, Gilles and Poirier will be in the final flight, except no longer the rule.
They changed that rule. I understand why we put things in world standing order.
For some things.
Like for worlds, Europeans, and 4 continents.
Yeah.
Please keep it in world standing order.
Yeah.
But when you have an internal qualification structure, why are you not using that?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, again, of those, bottom half, because it's so small that we're now talking about the bottom half of teams, they did, manage to step that one step up, even though they were fifth in both. They were about 3 points off the podium, which isn't too far, really, in ice stance. And on a better day, even when, he only got a level 3 on his twizzles in the free dance, even just a few little things like that, they are still very much knocking on the door. I think they're still close enough, and they look disappointed with the scores, but I thought this was an okay event for them, especially considering some of the messiness.
Yes. All 6 of these teams are very much in contention for a world medal. Yeah. Being 4th, 5th, or 6th here does not knock you out of contention, as we've seen. Yeah. Because there was some serious shakeups. Yeah. Nobody except for Papadakis and Cizeron had all 3 ordinals the same.
Well, to be fair, Stepanova, or yes, 3.
They did not have all 3 ordinals the same because chaos. Yeah. This was a little bit chaotic, although thankfully not 2006 original dance chaotic.
Yes, it wasn't that bad, but not as good as we were hoping. Yes. 5th, as we mentioned, were Gilles and Poirier, who I thought really skated quite well, especially since they have been known to make mistakes, big ones on the Grand Prix. They got through the full Grand Prix 3 events with no major mistakes, which I am extremely thankful for.
I don't remember the last time they managed that.
It's been a little while, unfortunately.
It's been a few seasons since they've managed to skate all of the Grand Prix without somebody falling. Yeah. And they did it. And frankly, that rhythm dance in particular, they were harshed on for no reason.
Yeah. Again, first flight PCS is my guess.
And GOE as well. The GOE was not great. Yeah. Even though they do most of those elements very well. Yeah. The only element they don't do super well is the fin step. Yeah. But it fits in with literally everybody else's fin step.
Yeah, I was about to say, I felt that in terms of the rhythm dance, they skated right on par with everybody else here. They didn't have any major mistakes as compared to some of the other teams, with the exception of the fin step. I do definitely think of the teams who were here, their fin step is the weakest of the 6. And that, you can tell they've been working on it, but it's still a little swingy, a little uncontrolled, especially the first key points.
Yeah, the first key point for each of them is stupid hard. Yeah. And it shows with these two, where the other teams here, even if they didn't get them, they faked it better. Yeah. And that, I think, is the only thing that should be holding Gilles and Poirier back. Yeah. There was some other stuff going on here because they had to skate early, which is unfortunate, but...
I mean, at least they have consistently, gained points in the free dance, which you don't want to have to rely on that, but at least... for them, we talked about what should be changed in programs. I think they have shown that the free dance is at an excellent place. Yep. Just continue maintaining and drill that fin step continuously because that's the weaker program at this point.
There is nothing wrong with either program.
No. Choreographically, I wouldn't change anything, honestly. I really love both of them.
And even their step sequence in the rhythm dance... Both of them are choreographed really well. Mm-hmm. They're just a little bit inconsistent, particularly on their midline step. Mm-hmm. Really, the only things they need to work on are that midline step and the fin step. Yeah. Everything else is perfect just the way it is. Both of these programs are fantastic. Yep. They're choreographed perfectly to the incredible music that Rob, the skating music guy, has put together for them. We were talking about Rob on Twitter this week because he does incredible work for these two and everybody else that he works with.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great piece and was really well skated. And again, they got that first flight PCS and GOE, which even with that, they still wound up 4th in the free dance. Mainly due to other people's mistakes. But I hopefully, as they continue skating cleanly and doing well,
earning all those world standing points to claw their way up.
Yeah, I very much hate that it's a thing that you have to have success to get rewarded in the PCS, but it's kind of where we are. Yeah. At the moment, and to be fair, it's not like it's a brand new thing. No. But the more success they have, hopefully that will feed further success as they go forward.
And just a reminder, this is progressively gotten better and not worse.
True. Yeah.
Forever. Like in the 6.0, it was atrocious.
Yeah.
Good luck getting anything close to a good mark if you skated early.
Yeah.
And then in the inception of the IJS, they went, let's try and fix that. And it didn't work initially. And we've been slowly clawing our way up towards what is hopefully a more perfect system.
Yeah.
More perfect, not actually perfect. That's never going to happen.
Yeah. This is a tiny bit of a tangent, and I'll be quick with it. But I think that the +5, -5 ironically made it a little bit worse, because now there's, you know, sometimes you'll see GOEs in the middle, but oftentimes it's, oh, that was a perfect element, let's give it a +5, or oh, that was an okay element, let's give it a +1. And yes, you do see the gradations in between, but
it didn't really do what they thought it was going to do.
Yeah.
And it only decreased the difference between a mediocre level 4 and a good level 2, which is a thing that we've already discussed shouldn't be a thing that you can achieve in ice dance, but I digress.
We should move on. And then 6th tier, probably the most surprising placement of this event, were Sinitsina and Katsalapov, who at the same time, though, they made mistakes. And
they were not looking strong and confident compared to all of these other teams.
Well, and he also had the same midline step twizzle issue that Gabriela Papadakis did in the rhythm dance, which I think was the biggest thing for them in that rhythm dance. Yeah. They also were a little less confident than they have been in the past in the Finn step.
Yeah, that rhythm dance was off. Yeah. And I mean, everybody's was. Yeah. But theirs was far more obvious than most of the other teams. Yeah. His twizzle mistake on the midline step, to be fair, was not as dramatic and obvious.
No. Yeah, he hit it way better, but it was basically the same thing.
Which is why we're not going to then go and complain about all of the GOE, even though it's a little high.
Yeah. But not as high as Papadakis and Caesarone, so
Yeah, and he didn't do a dramatic knee slide when he fell out of the twizzle, so small victories. Yeah. They're not skating with dynamism.
Well, I think that they looked nervous to me in the rhythm dance, and then when they found themselves in 4th and in the first flight, it seemed to me they got even more nervous and made even more silly mistakes in that free dance, especially by the time we got down to the end, because we had rotational lift level 3 followed by their spin at a level 2, and then their sliding movement where they got the fall deduction. Yeah. And that was a harsh call. Yes. It was tough. Technically speaking, though, she did do it, so you can't really... Yeah. Like, I feel for them a little bit because of the way the choreo sliding movement...
the way set up. Yeah. It's designed where you are allowed to do literally anything you want that slides across the ice. So one of the juniors literally does a barrel roll across the ice. Yep. It's amazing. I love it. And so understandably, people were confused by why she got a fall deduction. Yeah. And with the exception of Gabriela Papadakis' knee down, we were uniformly harsh on the tech calling side. Yep. Aside from the fin step. Yes. Where we were uniformly kind. Yeah. But everything... again, aside from that knee down from Gabriela Papadakis, was very uniform and generally on the harsher side. So I can understand why a harsh tech caller would go, but you obviously tipped over and your skate came off the ice and it was a fall.
Yeah, because basically, like, outside of a sliding movement, if all of your weight, because, you know, you're allowed to do like a slide outside of the choreographic sliding movement, but if you are, say, on one knee with one boot on the other foot on the ice and that boot comes up, then technically it's a fall because all your weight is off of your skating foot. Yes. And that's what she did in the sliding movement. And again, it makes it hard because you are allowed to do different things in the sliding movement than you are in the rest of the program. But at the same time, let's not fool ourselves and pretend that was intentional. That was unintentional.
Had they managed to cover it up a little bit better, had she managed to keep a smile on her face and put her hand down and dramatically slide out of it, they would not have gotten the fall deduction. But because it looked like a fall, and it was a technical fall,
Yeah, and even a different panel might have been kinder about it. And we have seen, like, this happens all the time in the sliding movement where, you know, you look at it and you think, okay, that was probably a technical fall, but it's in the sliding movement, so they usually get away with it.
It happened more than once to Fornia Baudry Sorensen last season.
It happens a lot. Like, if you really pay attention to sliding movements, there are many times when people lose their balance and, you know, like, unintentionally so. You can find a number of examples.
But Fornia Baudry Sorensen last season are the ones that come to mind first because she did it all the time.
Yeah.
I kept thinking, one of these days you're going to get a mean tech caller who's going to give you a fall for that.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, for them, it sucks. And that -1 for the fall deduction is what caused them to be in last place here. But at the same time, it was a mistake that you did make.
Yes.
You can't give the judges any excuse to ding you for anything. And that's really what it comes down to. Like, yeah, it sucks. And maybe on another day, another panel, it wouldn't have happened. But you did do it, though.
Yeah, and any other panel that we've had up to this point, I cannot think of a single panel that has done this. But they are 100% within their rights to call that a fall because it was.
Yeah.
It was a technical fall.
Yeah.
And technical falls are the ones that hurt the most.
Yeah.
Because you didn't actually, like, sit on your butt on the ice. But it's still a fall.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was a tough one for them. And I'm interested to see how they come back from it. I mean, Russian Nationals is in, what, like 2 weeks or something?
Yep.
There's not a lot of time to come back. Hopefully they can write it off as a fluke. But in the U.S. and in Russia, come Nationals, it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting.
I do not think anything is set in stone.
Speaking of countries with... Well, there's a third country where nothing is set in stone that was featured at the Grand Prix Final. And that is Canada. Gilles and Poirier may have made it here. But there are other teams nipping at their heels right now.
Well, yes.
One in particular.
Yes.
Who might shake things up at Nationals.
Could be. Because I would still give Gilles and Poirier the edge, and I really hope that, because it would be devastating if they did not finally win the national title.
Do not get me wrong. I'm not hoping for them to lose at Nationals because I will be devastated for them after all of these years trying to win that national title. They've never done it. I hope this is their year. It is not locked down by any means.
That is true. Moral of the story being, don't make any stupid mistakes. And you'll be okay. But if you make the mistakes...
You should be penalized for them if you make stupid mistakes.
Yep. All right. So that wraps up the senior dance event. What was your highlight from this competition?
This is really hard. Because there are lots of programs that I don't love. And the programs that I do love were not executed super well.
Well, yeah.
So I'm going to give it to Gilles and Poirier and their 4th place free dance. Because I love that program. They are great. They absolutely deserve to be the 4th best free dance here.
Yeah.
I'm sad they wound up 5th.
Yeah, that's fair. This was a tough one. I think for me, in a similar vein, Chalk and Bates's rhythm dance has been growing on me more and more this season. And again, especially in comparison with the free dance. So, no, I unreservedly love this rhythm dance. Not the free dance, but I'll take the rhythm dance.
All the too darn hots.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun, and
it's
suits
so
them,
much fun,
and it suits the theme, so I'm all for it.
Such a good choice.
And then in terms of the weekly Waxel, this was a tough one, ironically, but we'll go with Ice Dance Technical Falls from Victoria Sinitsina and Gabriela Papadakis. Only one got called, but hers probably should have been 2.
Yeah, or at least given a negative GOE.
Yes, and no 10s in the rhythm dance. Like, come on, guys.
Come on, guys. We got to be reasonable.
Yep.
So that's everything from the Grand Prix Final. But the fact that you were listening to a dance episode tells me that you were not going to want to miss the thing that we are about to talk to you about, which is something we introduced on Patreon, patreon.com/FlutzesCast, last night, and on Twitter this morning.
Yep.
We are introducing the hashtag GadBrawl.
Yep.
This is the opportunity for you as a dance fan to help us not so definitively decide who the best coach at Gadbois is.
Yep. And some background for this, if you've taken a look at our merch store, you know that we have a I'm Here for Marie France, image that you can put on like t-shirts and things, and it's been very popular. I think our most popular out of everything we have.
I think so. That and Tango Romantica are the two most
yes.
popular things that we have ever designed.
Yeah. Ice Dance fans, we have a brand.
And so we decided to share a little bit of love for the other two main coaches at Gadbois. There are more coaches, but
yes, we're aware, but we had to
cut it off somewhere. We limited it to the big three: Marie-France Dubray, Patrice Lauzon, or Romain Hagenauer.
Yep.
You have to pick one.
Yep. Technically speaking, we can't stop you from buying 3, but the idea here is who reigns supreme. Pick your fighter for the Gad Brawl, because the other thing too is, as I'm sure you know, we will be at the World Championships
in Montreal.
Yep, which is their home ground. I assume all 3 of them will be there.
They're going to be there.
Yeah, with their myriad of teams. I don't even know how many they're going to wind up having there, but
all of them.
And we have the competition to decide who's the best amongst the Gadbois Ice Dance teams. But
the important question that we all need to answer, that you may never have thought of, but we thought of, is, but who's the best coach? So,
or more, who's the favorite coach?
Yes.
More than best. Let's be honest. It's who's the favorite coach.
I have a prediction for who's going to win.
Yep.
I think I would be right, but we're going to let you choose. So you have 2 options. You can either go on to our TeePublic store, teepublic.com/user/FlutzesCast, and buy a button. They're currently on sale for like $2.65
Canadian, which is, it's cheaper in USD.
Yep. We chose the cheapest option. There are 2 sizes available. They're on sale right now, but the regular price is like $3. We went for the cheapest option so everybody could afford to play along.
Yep.
Buy a button, get it shipped to you, tweet using the hashtag GadBrawl and the picture of the button during Worlds.
And if you would like to tell us why you picked the person you did, feel free. We're very interested to know.
Very much. So that's your first option. You can order it online in our TeePublic store. It's linked on all of our social media, Twitter, Instagram. I haven't done it on Facebook, but I will. Or if you are going to be at Worlds and want to take a gamble, we will be bringing a limited number of buttons to Worlds with us.
And those are free, to be clear. You don't have to buy them for us. We're giving away for free, but we don't want to have to carry hundreds and hundreds of buttons with us, so we're going to limit the number.
Yes. So, first dibs will go to skaters and coaches at the junior or senior level.
And if you know any skaters or coaches who want in, tell us, and
Connect us.
We will reserve a button.
Yep, we will reserve buttons for all of those skaters or coaches at, again, the junior or senior level who will be in Montreal for Worlds. The second group that is going to get first dibs on these buttons is the participants in our button exchange.
Yep, and if you missed that, that's all on Twitter as well.
Yep.
Basically, again, if you're going to Worlds, we're all going to be making buttons and swapping them and
sharing them and wearing them, and we're making them as ridiculous as possible. We've gotten a preview of one of the designs.
Yep,
it's hilarious. I love it.
Yep, and there is still room if you want to join.
Yep. That is also linked on our Twitter. So if you are either a skater or coach or in the button exchange or a patron,
yes,
and you are going to be at Worlds, you get first dibs. If not, it's going to be an all-out war for the rest of these buttons.
Yep.
So if you're coming just for actual competition, they might be gone already. You might want to buy one.
Yeah, we kind of figured people at Worlds Ice Dance practices are the real gung-ho people who want a button, so we might, because we're very curious to know, and we will be tallying who gets the most buttons at the end of the competition.
So we'll be combining the number of buttons we have left over for any coaches from our personal limited stock and the number that have sold in the online store to determine who is the ultimate Gadbois coach.
Yep. Who wins the Gad Brawl. Hashtag Gad Brawl.
And of course, this is silly and fun.
Yes.
Don't take this seriously.
No.
We're not.
We love all of them. We heard from a little birdie that one of the coaches who is not Marie-France was feeling a little left out. So we thought, what can we do to
include all of them?
Exactly.
A little birdie may have given us a nice little tidbit that sparked this.
Yes.
We appreciate that little birdie very much.
Yes.
So yeah, have some fun with us. It's going to be silly shenanigans.
Yep.
It's also a good way to find us. We'll be 2 of the people covered in a myriad of buttons.
Yep.
But it's also a way for you guys to meet other listeners, because our other listeners who are going to Worlds will also be covered in a myriad of buttons.
Yep. And we would kind of love, I don't know if this would ever happen, but if skaters and coaches, including the 3 we're voting on, want to get in on it, we're all for it.
Please do. It would make us very excited, especially if the big 3 got involved. I want to know, are you going to pick yourself or are you going to pick one of your coaching partners?
That's the ultimate question.
It's especially tough for poor Marie France and Patch because they're also married. Making them choose between themselves and their spouse might be difficult.
Yeah. So consider for yourself, who's your fighter for the GAD Brawl at Worlds? And we're going to leave them on sale. Well, through the competition, we'll see. Yeah. I guess we could leave it open afterwards, but
if you guys still want to buy them after the GAD Brawl is officially over, I mean, we'll leave them up, but it's mostly to go until Worlds. You got lots of time to buy a button. Make sure you buy it early though, so you can take pictures with it at Worlds or while you're watching Worlds at home. We wanted to include everybody who can't go to Worlds, which is why we're selling them online.
Yeah, exactly. And another mention, just if you want to come find us like on the Monday of the World Championships and get a button for free, you can do. We'll, have details on where we're at closer to.
We will be findable.
Yes.
And we are going to be there. We're going to be in Montreal on Sunday before Worlds start. So we will be findable. But especially if you're not there until later in the week. We are not guaranteeing buttons for anybody.
Again, other than for the button exchange. So if you want to participate in that, you are guaranteed one.
Or skaters and coaches.
Yes, that too. Because we would love to see some skaters and coaches participating in the GAD Brawl.
Playing along with our shenanigans.
Yeah.
We love a good shenanigan. We take this mostly seriously, but we are kind of silly people. So this is why we're doing the GAD Brawl. Play along, have some fun. It'll be a good time.
All right. So I think that wraps up all the extraneous stuff for the moment. And this has gone longer than anticipated. So let's wrap it up. Thank you all for listening, and please let us know your thoughts about this week in figure skating at flutzescast@gmail.com. You can also follow us at Flutzescast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for even more skating content.
Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/flutzescast for bonus content and also to get in on a button if you don't want to buy one. And our merch store, our regular merch store is flutzescast.redbubble.com. The GAD Brawl one is on TeePublic. I know, it's annoying. tpublic.com/user/flutzescast. And if you like what we do, consider leaving us a review wherever you're listening. We'll be back very soon with more of the Grand Prix Final, but until then, keep a watchful eye out for those Flutzes and Waxel skating fans.